So today we will see administrative configuration for the router and switches. Now let's look the administrative configuration commands to configure the network device such as router and switch for administrative network. Now the administrative functions that we can use or we can configure on a router or switch like follows. Like we can configure the host name, then we can configure the password for our router, and also we can configure the interfaces of the router. Now first, the host name. Now host name means assigning a unique name to our router device. This means what? Assign name, and it can be useful as to where the device actually lives, will make finding it a whole lot easier, and it is also help you confirm that you are indeed configuring the right device. Sometime in a big network you may have lots of routers and switches in different places. That means maybe they are in different locations, different cities, or even a different countries also. So assigning a unique name, that will help you that identifying the router, that where the router is actually reside, and also you know that where you are working on it, because you can take the remote connection and you can work on remotely. So you may not understand sometime that you are working on which router if all the routers are having a same name. The default name, I can say default is router. So we should assign a unique name to the router so that we know that which router we are working. And for that we configure the host name for the router. To assign an identity to your router, you can use the below command, and that is host name. This is the command, and then this is the value. Now when you work on command line, so command lines work simple. You have a command which never changes, and then you will give the value which can change. Now when we say value, that means you can change the value based on the option or command. So when you give a command, so based on the command you can choose any value. In that means command can never change, command will remain same, and the value will change. So for example, I want to change a name from the default router which is a router to any other name. So the command is host name, so always the command will be host name, and I can use any name here for my router. Depending on my location, depending on my configuration, I can choose the name which is suitable for my router, so that it will be easy for me to identify my router. So I'm giving here the host name, and the name I'm giving here is Andheri. Andheri is a place here in Mumbai, so I'm giving it like this router is located in that place. So how we can do it in our router? Let's see that. So we have installed this packet tracer, and I hope you have already used it. Now what I will do here in the devices, network devices, we have routers, switches and all. So I'm clicking on one router, and here it is showing me all the different versions of router we have. So I'm going to select this one, and I will click here. This is 2620, it is a 2600 series. Now I want to configure the router. So that if the simple way we have seen that what we do, we add the port console cable into this console port of our router. If you click, you will see this is the physical view of our router. So in this we have one network interface, that is Ethernet interface for the LAN network, and the other interfaces are not there because it's a modular router, so we can add some other interfaces as we require. But for configuring the router, we have these two ports, which is console and auxiliary. Console is to configure it locally, and auxiliary port we can use it to configure it from remote location. Now console is always the default port. So when you click on it, you will see this Now I want to configure the router, so what I will do, I will connect the console cable into the console port, or either I can connect it on auxiliary port, and then the other end of the cable I will connect on machine. So I will use a machine here. I will click on end devices, one PC. I will put here this PC, and then I will go to connections, and here we have different connections available. So I'm going to select this console cable. Now I will click on the router, so it will show me that which port you want to connect. So the router right now has these ports, fixed ports, that is auxiliary, console and fast ethernet port. So I will connect on console and then click on the PC, and here is the serial port of the PC, RS232. Now it is connected. Now I go to the machine, and on the desktop of the machine, in the desktop we have a terminal. So when you click on a terminal, it shows the bit rate and all that. I will leave it as it is default. Okay, and here I get the command line terminal of our router. I will make it full screen. Now it is the boot process of the router, and finally it is not having any configuration, so it is on the setup mode. So what I will do, I will not use this setup mode to configure it. So I will say no. Press return to get started, that means press enter to log in. So when I click enter, I logged in, and here is the default name of the router. Now to configure the name, we have to go to the configuration mode, global configuration mode, and for that we have to first go to the privilege mode. So we know how we can go to the privilege mode by giving the enable command. Either we can use the shortcut en, or I can give the full command enable, and I don't have to type the full command because I have a help of tab. So if I want to write the enable, so I can use en and tab, and it will complete, and I'm in the privilege mode. Now when I'm in privilege mode, then I can go to configure mode. I cannot directly go. So configure and terminal, I'm using tab to complete the command, or I can use the shortcut also, that is conf for configure and T for terminal. And now I'm in configuration terminal mode. Now our router name is router. This is the default name, and I want to change it. So I will change it with the host name command. Now host name, and then I will give a name which I want. Whatever name I want, I can give, and then I will press enter. And now as soon as I press enter, we can see the name has changed here from router to Andheri, and now our router name has become Andheri. Now remember, this configurations which I did here, I changed the name, and it is directly applied because it is the running configuration, and it is right now running, and it is not saved. If I restart my router, the configuration the name will be removed, and the router will go back to the default configuration, and that is router. So it will go back to the default name because we have not saved anything. So whatever you configure, it will remain in a RAM until you save it, and when you save it, it will go to NVRAM. And for checking it, we know the command. From the privilege mode, we give a command show running config to check the configuration of the RAM, and here it is showing you that the host name is this. Other configurations we have not configured. And if you want to check the configurations which is already saved, we'll give command show startup configurations, and here it shows the NVRAM configuration, and now it is saying that startup configuration is not present because it is not saved. So this is how we can change the host name from the router. One more thing, now the other configurations. So this is what we have configured, and we have configured from this machine. Now for the other configurations, like setting up the password. Now setting a password is also important to secure our router. You know, by default in our routers or switches, by default there was no password. But nowadays when you have a new routers, these routers may have a password that is default username and password, and default is Cisco username and Cisco password. It is like not having a password, because everyone knows what is the default. So whether you are not having a password or you are having a default password is similar, that you are not having a password, because everyone knows what is the default. Now to configure the password means securing your router. So Cisco router and switches can be secure using the 5 passwords. 5 passwords are like enable auxiliary, enable password, console password, auxiliary password, enable secret password, or telnet password. Now first, enable password and enable secret password is assigning to secure the privilege mode. So these 2 passwords are for securing your privilege mode, whereas for securing the console port you have to assign the console password. So the console password is to secure your console, which will promote for password before entering the user mode. That means when you enter the user mode, it will ask the password. Right now it is not asking the password, it is not asking any password. So entering into the user mode, it is like logging into your router, and when you logging in your router, it is not asking any password. So it depends now where you're logging from. So if you're logging in from the console port, which is also a configuration port, so you can put the password on that console port. Now there is one more port which we can use to configure, and that is auxiliary port. So for auxiliary port you can use the auxiliary password also. That is same for telnet access. You can assign telnet either that is VTY password. Now we have 2 ways to log into your router. First, we can use the default console port to log into your router and going into the user mode, so where you can assign the password. Then the other way of to log into the router is what? The auxiliary port. And when you connect with the auxiliary port, it is also like a console port you can use, and you can use it to configure the router. So password which you assign on console port will not be applied on auxiliary port. So for securing the auxiliary port, you can still assign the password on that auxiliary port. Then there is one more way to access your router, is from remotely through telnet. Through telnet also we can access our router. Now for accessing the router remotely, first we need to configure IP addresses and all that. So if our router is already configured with the IP addresses and network, then we can access the router from telnet, from remotely. But by default this telnet is not enabled. So whether you configure it or not, whether you configure the password for the telnet or not, it is not enabled, it is disabled. That means when you configure the password for telnet, only then the telnet is enabled. Otherwise nobody can access the telnet, and nobody can get the telnet access from your router or even a switch. Because of the security reason, by default it is not enabled, and when you assign the password to that, then it will enable. So first let's see how we can assign the password on console port. For configuring the console port password, that is also we can say user mode password, assigned by using the line command. Line command, because these are line. Console port is a line to connect your router, auxiliary is also a line, and also we can say VTY is also a line to connect your router. For configuring it, we use the line command. Console password, that means user password, we can assign by the line command, because these are line which we are using to connect to our router. Lines are like console, auxiliary, or even a VTY. So for configuring it, we have to go first into the configuration mode, in the global configuration mode. Then we will use the command line. Now remember, this is what the command. Again I am saying commands will never change, only the values will change. So this is the command line to get into the line mode, and then we will mention the port, name of the port, whether it is auxiliary, console, TTY or VTY. So whatever the terminal, whatever the console, whatever the port we want to configure, we will mention that port name, and also the number of the port. That is also important. So in order to secure access to the router configuration, that is console port, you can assign the password to bit by using line console 0 command. Now line console 0, in order to get prompt from the authentication, here also you have to give login command as shown below. So by using this command line console 0, now console is the port number, port name, and 0 is the number of the port. Remember to give the number of the port. Now 0 because what, in router we have always only one console port, and one console port, that means number 0. It is starting from number 0, so it always be number 0. It will never be number 2 or 3 or 1. So still it is what, 0, and it is what, the number of the port. So the command is what, line console 0, and when you press enter, you will be into the sub configuration mode, that is what, line mode. We have seen it before, the sub configuration modes, and this is what, the line mode. Now in this mode we can configure the password for our console port, and that is what, the command is password. Now remember, the command is password which will never change, and the value is the password which you want to configure. So value can be any, like you can configure any password here, but the password command will never change. So the command is password, and then you will mention the password you want to change. Then you will give the command login. Now login is to use the promote for authentication. It is for promote for authentication. That means we are logging, we are asking the router to ask for password. Remember, if you configure the password but if you don't give login, then what it will do, it will not ask the password. So even if you configure the password and you forgot to give login command, it will not ask the password. So login means it is to telling the router that ask the password when anyone try to log in from console port. Let's see how we can configure it in our router. In this packet tracer, what I have done, we have used this router and we have connected the router through the console port to this PC. Now I will go here in this PC, and when I click enter, now see it is saying press enter to get started, and when I press enter, it is not asking any password to me because we have not any password on console port. So it is not asking any password for me, but I have configured the host name here. Now I want to configure the password and I want to secure it. So first I have to go to the privilege mode by giving enable command, by using, I'm pressing tab to complete it, and then I will go to the configuration mode. I'm using the short name conft configuration terminal. Remember, you cannot go directly from user mode to global configuration mode. You have to go through with the privilege mode. Now from here I will give a command line, and if I give a question mark here, it shows me that what lines I can give. I can give line from 0 to 499, that is first line number. We can have this virtual lines also, but right now we don't have. So I can go for console and auxiliary, and even I can go for VTY. This VTY is for the telnet. Now telnet you will use only when your router is configured with the IP addresses, and telnet is to connect your device from remotely through the IP address, but it is disabled until you assign the password. So I want to configure console port, so I will give console. So here I will give a command line console. Then if I give a question mark, it says give me the number of console line, and it is giving me option from 0 to 0. 0 to 0 is because it is only 0, that is what the first port we have. Here if you have multiple options, then you will get like 2 to 449, but here it is saying 0 to 0. So there is only one port, one console port, and the number of the port is 0. So I will mention 0 here and enter. Now I will give command to give a password, and that is what password. Now I can give a password here, whatever I want. For example, I will say con at 123. This is what my password. You can give any password and then enter. Now the next option is to give login command. If I don't give login, it will not ask me the password. So I will mention login and enter. So don't forget to give login. It is saying the router that you have to ask the password and don't allow anyone without a password. Now the password is configured, and I will exit it from here by pressing the Ctrl Z, and I'll directly go to the privilege mode. Now I can check my configuration by using show running configuration. Remember, it's running configuration because it is not saved. So when I check it, so this is the name which I have configured here, host name. Now when I go down, the interface we have only one, we have not configured it, but when I go down, I can see this. I can see that I have configured line console 0. I have configured with this password, and I have also configured the login, and that means it is asking the password. Now let's try. I will exit it from this. Now I exit from the router. Now I want to log into my router by pressing enter. Now previously it was not password, it was the password was not there, so it was not asking me any password. But now when I try this, now it is asking me password which I have configured on console port. So the password which I have configured is this con at 123. Now if you see, there is no indication that I have typed the password, but it has taken. So it will not show you anything when you type the password. It will not show you even star 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 like this. So in Windows sometime you type like some passwords, then it shows like this. So here it will not show like this also, because sometime somebody can guess the character of your password. Like if you're typing the password and if somebody is standing behind you, he can see that your password is 1 2 3 4 5 characters, and he can try to guess the password. So for security reason, it does not show when you type the password also. So this is how we configure the console password. Now next is auxiliary password. Remember, we configured only console password. We have not configured the auxiliary password. And the console password will not apply on auxiliary. It will not apply on auxiliary connection. So if you try to connect your router from auxiliary port, so it will not ask the password which you configured on console port. Let's see that. I'll show you that. This machine is connected to the router through console port. Now what I will do, I will use one more machine here. Now I will connect this machine through the auxiliary port. So I'll go to connection, and I will go to select the console cable, and then here, now see, auxiliary port is showing, console is not showing because console is already connected. So I will select auxiliary port, and then I will connect to this machine's serial port. Now I will go to this machine and desktop, and I will go to terminal. And with the default setting, I will click OK. and now you see it is not showing anything. Now I will press enter to log in and see what happens. Is it asking the password or not? So it is already saying here that configured from console by console. That means console, we have last configuration we have done is what, configured the console from the console port. Now when I press enter, we are connected through the auxiliary port. Now when I press enter, now you can see it is not asking any password, and I am logging. I can log in it from here without any password, because the password which we have configured is on the console port, it is not here. So exit. So whenever I press enter here, I can log in. But when I go to the console port, this connection is from console port, and you can see here what is it saying, console 0 is available. And when I click enter, it asks the password which I configured. But when I log in from the auxiliary port, it does not ask me the password. And this is what the other terminal, which is StreetUI 1, and that is the auxiliary port. So when I connect it from the auxiliary port, it does not ask the password. So what I will do here now, will configure the password on console auxiliary port also, and that we will configure it from the console port. So this connection is from the console port, so we will configure the password from the console port. Remember one more thing, that is important, that console port is always the default one. Anything you want to configure, you should configure it from console port. This is your default configuration port. You can even use the auxiliary port same as this, but still the console port is the default one. So I will configure the auxiliary password, and I will configure it from logging in through the console port. And why I am saying this, I will show you. So first I will go to the configuration mode. I logged in through the console port first, then I will go to configuration terminal, then I will give the line command. And if I give a line command, we have option to give console, auxiliary and TTY. So this time I will select what, auxiliary port. And if I give question mark, again I will see the number of the port is 0, because we have only one auxiliary port also. Then we can give a password. The command is password, same like console, and the password whatever we want to assign. And then again we have to mention the login command, otherwise it will not ask the password. So let's see how we can configure this. So this is our console connection, and this is our auxiliary connection. Now I will click on the console connection, and I will go to terminal, default, and we can see it is saying this is console connection. And then I will log in with a password which I configured for the console port. Now I will go to the privilege mode, and then I will go to configuration mode. Now here I will configure the auxiliary port. So I will give command line, and when I give question mark, I can see console, and for auxiliary we have AUX. So I will mention AUX, and then there is only one port, so it is from 0 to 0. So I will mention 0 and enter. And now again we are in the same line mode, but this time we are under the configuration of auxiliary. Last time we were under the configuration of console. Now this time we are under the configuration of auxiliary. Now again the command is same for assigning the password, that is password, and then you can give any password. So I am giving AUX at 123. Then login. Login is must, otherwise it will not ask the password. And then exit and back to privilege mode, and let's check the configuration by giving show running command, show running config. So we configured now. So we configured the console port, and also now we configured the auxiliary port. Now remember, I said login is important because with the login it asks the password, and also I said that telnet is also there which you can use to login, and by default it is disabled. If you try to access the router with the telnet without a password, there is no password, and when you not have a password, it is disabled. That is why, because I said here, because this is the connection for telnet, configuration for telnet, and for telnet there is no physical port. So we mentioned that VTY is the virtual terminal type, because for telnet there is no physical port, and there is no physical port, and there is no physical number. So we mentioned the range of numbers 0 to 4. Now there is no password here. If you see, there is no password configured, and by default no password in telnet, that means it is not enabled. And why it is not enabled? Because of this login. There is no password and still it is said login config. Login is configured, and that is why it asks the password and there is no password. So when you try to log in with telnet, then it asks the password and you know there is no password. So you can give any password, it will not accept because there is no password. But it will ask the password because it is already configured login. In this console access and auxiliary access, by default the login is not set. So because of that, it will not ask the password, and you can log in without a password through console and auxiliary port. Because if you are having a password there and you don't know the password, then what? You are not able to log in and you are not able to configure your router. Now I configured it from the console port. Now I will try to access it from the auxiliary port. So I will close this one, and then I will go to connect this from the machine connected through the auxiliary port. Terminal, and with the default settings. And now when I connect, when I press enter to login, and now it is asking the password again. Now this time it is asking the password which I configured on auxiliary port, that is AUX at 123, and now I can log in. So we configure the password for console and auxiliary port for the user mode, or we can say for the logging of the router. Now remember, I said the console port is the default port for configurations. Now I am logged in from the auxiliary port. Now what I will do, I will try to go to the privilege mode. Remember, I logged in from the console port, auxiliary port. So I will try to go to the privilege mode by giving enable command. Now what it is saying here, it is saying no password set, because I am connected through the auxiliary port. Now if I connect from the console port, I close this, I connect from console port now, terminal and default. I will exit from here. So when I log in, it is asking me the console password, that is on at 123. But when I go to the privilege mode, it is not asking me any password, because this is the default port for configuring your router. Now any other port, like you connect it from the auxiliary port, or even you connect it from the telnet, it will not allow you to go to the privilege mode unless you have a password on it. So for going into the privilege mode, there is a password which we can set, and without the password from the auxiliary port or even a telnet port, you cannot log in, and you cannot go into the privilege mode. So it asks the password, and without a password you cannot access the privilege mode, because this privilege mode is what? It is the privilege mode where you can do more things, and also from here you can go to the main configuration mode. You cannot go into the main configuration mode from the user mode, but you can only go from this privilege mode, and that is why we have a password on this privilege mode to configure, and that we can configure it, and it is called enable password, because this is the command, the enable command we use to go to the enable privilege mode. And the privilege mode also called sometime enable mode. Some people called it enable mode because we use command enable to go into this, and that is why sometime it is called enable password. So if I try to log in it from the auxiliary port and try to switch to privilege mode, it will not allow me because there is no password. So we have to configure the password on the privilege mode to go to the privilege mode by using the any other port other than console port. Now in order to promote for password, you have to give login command. If you fail to do so, the 3 will be no promote for authentication. So there will be no promote for authentication. Now the enable password, as I said, and you can secure the privilege mode by assigning the following command from the global configuration mode to assign the enable password. And because from the enable mode you can go, from the privilege mode you can go into the configuration mode, so you can assign the last security boundary where you can use a different password. So if you are having a different levels of administrator, basically we have different levels of administrators in a organization. So some administrators does not have more privilege, so they can log in into only user mode, and they cannot go into privilege mode because they don't have a password for that privilege mode, so they cannot go to that. So that is why we can use the privilege mode password also. And because you cannot go to the privilege mode, you cannot go to the configuration mode also. Now here we can configure the password, that is called enable password. Now the enable password is in text mode. You can check with the help of show running config command. There is two passwords here. Actually there is two password for securing the privilege mode. The first one is what? Normal enable password. The normal enable password is actually plain text password, which you can see and which you can verify by using the show running command. But the second type of password is what? Enable secret password. That enable secret password is more secure. It is encrypted password that's override the enable password. If it is set, then you can use this. Now remember, it is not like encrypted, it is actually hashed. Remember, encryption can be decrypted. Encryptions can be decrypted. That means if you use an encryption algorithm and you encrypt something with that, then you can use the same algorithm to decrypt that thing also. But hashing cannot be reversed. And this enable secret password, if you use to configure this enable secret password, so it do what? It use the hashing algorithm to hash the password, and that nobody can reverse it. Now this one is more secure than the normal enable password, and when you assign this secret password, then it will override the normal enable password, and it will override the normal enable password, and then only this secret password will work and the enable password will not work. Let's see that. And we can do it only from console port. We cannot do it from the privilege port. we can see if you try to do it from the privilege port, and if you go to the command line, you can log in, the password of the auxiliary port. So you can go to the user mode, but you cannot go to the privilege mode because there is no password. And if you can't go to the privilege mode, you cannot go to the global configuration mode. It is saying that is a wrong command you are giving. So because you can't go there, you cannot configure it. So configuring the password for the privilege mode, you can do it only from the console port. So this machine is connected to the console port, and I can do it from here only. So for configuring the enable password, we go to the configuration mode, global configuration mode, and here it will not ask any password for going into the privilege mode because we are connected through console port. So I will go to the configuration mode, and for assigning the privilege normal enable password, the command is enable password. Now this is the command which never change. Then the value, that means the password you want to assign, and you can give any password here. So let's say I will give here ABC at 123. Now I configured it. We can verify by using show running command from the privilege mode. Show commands we always run from the privilege mode. Now when I run it, now we can see here, this is our host name, and this is what enable password, and it is actually showing you the password, and that is the problem here. It shows the password that this is your password. So if suppose anyone if you are not there on the terminal, and if anyone sees this, if anyone just run the command show running config, he can see the password easily. He can know that okay, this is the password, and if he knows the password for privilege mode, then he can go to global configuration also, and he can change anything. And same as this enable password, normal enable password, you can also see these passwords also, like console password, auxiliary password, or even the telnet password if you assign, and you can see those password also in plain text. And when you see this plain text password, there is no other option to here to assign secret. So you can see the console password or auxiliary password, then you can log into your router, and if you see the privilege password also, then you can go to the privilege mode, and also you can do then any configuration from configuration mode also. That is why this is not secure. But now we have assigned it. So when after you assign the password to the privilege mode, then it will ask the password whenever you connect, wherever you connect. Either you are connecting it from the console port or auxiliary port, it will ask the password. So this is, I am connected from the console port. I mean in a user mode. Now I want to go to the privilege mode, and now it is asking me the password ABC at 123. And if I connect it from the console auxiliary port, it will still ask me the password, and now it will allow me to go into the privilege mode because now there is a password and it is set. Previously it was not allowing me to go. Now when I try, now there is a password, and if I know the password ABC at 123, I can go to the privilege mode, and if I can go to the privilege mode, I can go to the global configuration mode and I can configure it. So I can access it now from the auxiliary port or even from the console port also. Now this password is not secure. Why it is not secure? Because we can see the password easily. As you can see the console and auxiliary password, you can also see this privilege password also, and that is why it is not secure. So now it is recommended to use the other password, that is a secret password. So it is recommended that don't use this old enable password, always use this new secret password with the secret keyword. So for assigning the secret password, the command is enable secret, and then you can assign whatever the password. Now remember, whenever you assign this secret password, it will override the previous enable password, and then router will always ask this password. It will not take that previous normal enable password. It will remain there, but it will not ask for it. It will always use this password. So enable secret, and then the password which you want to assign, like I will say xyz at 123. Now I will exit from here and disable. Now I will try to go to the enable mode. Now it will not ask the password which is normal privilege password. It will ask the secret password. Now if I try the normal one, ABC at 123, no, it is not taking it. Again ABC at 123, no, it is not taking it. ABC at 123, no, it is saying bad password, bad secret. Now it is saying bad secret. That means it needs what? Only secret password. That normal password it will not take. So I will give now directly the secret password, that is xyz at 123, and it can allow me. And now it is allowing me to go to the privilege mode, because now the the secret password is override the normal enable password. And why? So you can see show running command, and then you can see what it is doing here. This is our normal password, and this is our secret password, which is hashed. It is which is hashed by MD5 algorithm, and we have given the password xyz at 123, and it is changed to this value. Now remember, you can see the value, but you cannot reverse it. But encryptions can be reversed.
Sir.
This normal password you can see, but the secret password you cannot see. But there is another way to secure your password, because now this password is not valid. Now it is only asking the secret password, but still you can see your console auxiliary passwords are still visible, and it is still visible, is still plain text, and it is not secure. So there is a way to secure this one also. That is not a foolproof thing, but still you can do that, is to encrypt your passwords. That means as only enable secret password is encrypted as compared to other user mode and enable password, you can also encrypt those password by doing this command. This is to say service password encryption. It is to encrypt the other passwords which we have. That is our console password, auxiliary password, or even like we are having this telnet password. So we can secure those passwords by using this service password encryption command. But remember, it will do encryption, it will not do hashing. And as I said, encryption can be reversed. The password will now be encrypted, and you just encrypt the password and perform a show run command, and then turn off the command. And then you can disable the encryption also by using this no service password encryption. So you can enable the encryption and you can disable the encryption by using this command. Now it is only the encryption which you can anyone can crack actually. So it is only doing encryption on these passwords, and it can still be crackable, it still can be reversible, because encryption can be reversible. Now let's see how we can do this. We can go to the configuration mode, and then we can do what? We can configure service password encryption command. When you run this command, it will do what? It will encrypt all the other passwords which we have. That means now when you see show running config command, now you can see this one, the secret one was already hashed, it was secured, but now this one normal password is now encrypted. It is type 7, it is encryption, and you can see now it is changed. And also your other passwords like console and auxiliary password, they are also encrypted. And you can see they are also encrypted. But always remember, this is not that secure thing. It can still be cracked. If someone is having a little mind, they can do this. I will show that. I will show you this. Let's copy this privileged password. See the encryption. If I see the encrypted value, I will copy this value. And now see what I can do. So when I saw the password, it is encrypted. I go to the browser and then I just type Cisco password decrypt. I just type this search well and I get one first search that is calling Cisco password cracker. I click on this first link, and now you see it is telling me that type 7 password, give here your type 7 password. So I have copied the password, so I paste it here. So this is my enable password, normal enable password, which is I encrypted, and then I will say crack it. Remember, my password was abc at 123. And you can see it is showing me my password, and you can see how easy it is to crack your type 7 password. And the important thing it is saying here, that what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is, do not use the old type 7 password anymore. Use the new secret keyword for only. For example, use enable secret password. So don't use these normal password. It is very easy to crack. We have other passwords also encrypted, just like this console and auxiliary port. We can even crack those also. Just copy the value here. Like we have here our console password, which was con at 123. So I just copy this value here, and I will go to the browser. I'll go to the same link, and I will now paste that value for the console password, crack, and now you can see the value is con at 123, and it is very easy. But that type 7 password, type 5 password is not easy to break. You can say here it is saying, have you got a type 5 password you want to break? Try the Cisco iOS type 5 enable secret cracker instead. So it is giving you the cracker for the type 5 password also. Let's try that one. So now this is saying type 5 password here I can crack with this. Let's see how we can do this. So I will try that one also. So what I will do, I will copy this type 5 password and try to crack it. So it is saying paste your type 5 password here. So this is my type 5 password, and I say crack. Now it is saying here, you see what is it saying here? It is saying brute forcing. And it is doing brute forcing. Now brute forcing means what? It can take a lot of time. It depends on the length of your password and the complexity of your password. This brute forcing means what? It is trying all the possible combinations, because it cannot reverse this. It is type 5, it is what? Hashed, and it cannot reverse this. So it is doing what? It is trying to compare all the possible values which we can have. Now if your password, remember, if your password is more than 8 character, and if it is a complex password, then forgot about it. Just forgot about to crack this. It can take up to 300 years in your normal machine. In a supercomputer it may take at least 100 years to do this brute forcing. Now it is doing it, and it is taking a time, and it will take a time, and I hope it will not. My password is what? ABCXYZ at 123. It is actually 7 characters, less than 8. So there is a chance here that it can crack the password. It is reached up to third length. You can see length is equal to 3, so it will go up to 7 character, and maybe it will try to, it can break it, because it is also a simplistic password, ABCXYZ. But if you are using a complex password more than 8 character with numbers, letters and special characters, then forget about it. No one can crack this. It is hash. So it is taking too much time, and we don't have that time to waste here. So the key is, this type 5 password is to use a complex and secure complex and more than 8 character. Otherwise it can also be cracked. Now we can remove these encryptions by using this command. So if I want to de-encrypt these passwords which I encrypted, then I can use this command. The command was service password encryption. So if I want to remove the encryption, if I want to remove the configuration, now this is what a easy way. Cisco has given you a very easy way to remove your configurations from the router and switches. It is very easy here, very simple way. It is like, if you want to remove any configuration, you just have to put no. You just have to put no at the beginning of the command. Remember, I am saying only command, not the value, only the command. And also you have to give at the same place where you have given the command. Like, I want to remove this encryption, so what I am giving the password, removing this encryption, I am giving it in the same mode. I was in configuration mode, global configuration mode. I have used this command to use the encryptions. So if I want to remove it, so I will go to the same mode, and then before the command, now remember this, there is no value here. Service password encryption is command. So before the command, at the beginning of the command, I can just give no and enter, and it will remove the encryptions, and it will actually remove the configurations. It is still showing this, but when we reboot it, it will remove, and it will remove totally, because actually it is not saved. Now if you want to remove your any configurations, so that is very easy in the Cisco routers and switches. In the iOS of Cisco, it is just give you whatever you want to remove, you just have to give no at the beginning of the command. For example, I want to remove enable password, or I want to remove the enable secret password. So how I will do this? I want to know that where I given the password. So I have assigned the password in the configuration mode. So I will go to the configuration mode, and then for removing the password, for assigning the password, the command was enable password. This is to give the normal password, and then I gave the value ABC at 123. So this was the command to assign the password. Now I want to remove the password, so value I will not give. So I will not give the value, I will give only the command, and at the beginning of the command I will give no enable password, enter, and it will do what? It will remove the enable password, and we can check by show running configuration, and you can see it is only showing enable secret, it is not showing enable password. Now I want to remove this enable secret also. So I will go to the configuration mode again, because for configuring this password I configured it from the configuration mode, and the command was enable secret, and then I gave the password xyz at 123, and this is what, this is a value, this is not a command, it's a value. So I will remove the value and I will put the command, and at the beginning I will give no. So the command was enable secret to assign the password, to remove no enable secret, and enter. And when you check, now you can see there is no enable password and there is no service password encryption also. We removed. Now I want to remove the other passwords like console password or auxiliary password, these passwords. Now remember where you give these passwords. So for example, for auxiliary password, I went to the configuration mode, then I went to the line auxiliary 0. Now here in the line mode I use the command password to assign the password, and the value was like this. So I don't have to give the value, I just have to give what? No password. Now I did one more configuration in this, that is login. Now I want to remove the password and I want to remove the login also. Then I will say no login, and that means it will not ask the password, because there is no password, we have removed it. And we can check by using show running configuration, and now you can see there is no enable secret, and also now there is no auxiliary password, and there is no login also. Console password is still there. So if you want to remove that one also, so again very simple, just go to the line where you have assigned the password. So in the configuration mode, then I went to the console 0 line, to the line mode, then the command was password, so I will put no password, very simple, no login, to remove the login also. So this is to remove your configurations which you have configured. And now when you check show running configuration, now we have only the host name, but we don't have any passwords here. So this is how you can assign and you can remove it. Removing is very easy. The simple way is what? Give a password, give a command and start with no, and give where you have assigned. So just use no before the command you want to remove the configuration. Now the next thing is to configure the interface of the routers. Configuring the interface of the router means what? That means assigning IP addresses on the interface and some other configurations also. Now when you configure it, when your interfaces are connected, so first you should know that what is the job of your router. Job of your router is to connect two different networks. This is the basic job. Now what those two different networks? So basically those two different networks are LAN and WAN. So our router sits in between the LAN and WAN network. So it connects our local area network into wide area network. So in the one interface of the router which is connected to the LAN network, we have the IP address within the within the LAN network, so that all the machines from the LAN network can connect to the router through the interface which is connected to the LAN network. Then the other port of the router, which is, we can say, WAN interface, which will be connected into the WAN port or WAN link. From there, our router will access the WAN network, and to get into WAN network and to get into other areas of the internet network or WAN network. And for that we use lease lines, and lease lines are provided by the ISPs, and ISPs do give you the IP address for their lease lines also. So when you get the lease lines, you will get the public IP addresses also, and that IP addresses you will assign on the WAN interface which is connected to the WAN link. So assigning IP addresses is what? Assigning IP addresses on your local area network interface and IP address on your wide area network interface, that is your WAN interface. For example, this is our machines in our local area network. We have one, we have two, or we have multiple machines. Now these are local area network. So for connecting these different machines, we need only switch, so that we can connect these machines through local area network. Now for this local area network, we need an IP address for these machines. So for example, I am using this range of IP address, like I am using range of this class A 10.0.0.0. So I'm using this network. So maybe this machine is 10.0.0.1, this can be 10.0.0.2, this will be 10.0.0.3, and so on. And so on, it can go up to like whatever the machines we have in this local area network, and they can communicate with each other like from the within the network. So within the network, they can connect with this IP. Now, if this network if from this network we want to go to the other network, like for example, this is our one office. For example, this is our network. This is our LAN network. We can say this is our LAN network. And within the LAN networks, we are using this range of IP like 10, and for connecting these machines like 10.0.0.1, 10.0.0.2, 10.0.0.3, and so on, we need only switch to connect them. Now we want to go to WAN network. That means these machines want to go to the WAN network. Now WAN network, that means maybe we are having another office in another area or another city or another continent, another country. We are also having these different machines there, or we can say like we have a different network in that side. Now we cannot connect cable from this to this network because this is in a different country. Maybe this is in Africa and this is in America. So we cannot put a cable from here to there, but ISP can do that. But ISP, internet service providers, can do that, and they have already done it. So we do what? We take a lease line from them to connect these two offices. So that means they are here. This is like the internet service providers WAN cloud. This is WAN. Now we took a lease line from them. So what we do here, we have to get what? A router from our side. So we use router from this side. Now on the router we have different interfaces. The interface which connects to the LAN network and the other interface which connect to this WAN interface. So we connect the LAN interface into the switch which is connected to our LAN network, and on this interface, remember on the interface which is connected to the LAN interface, mostly it is Ethernet or fast Ethernet port or even a gigabit port. So in this port I will assign the IP address which is belong to the same network in our LAN, whether it is 10, 20, whatever the network we are using here in this LAN network, we will give IP here in the same range or in the same network. Let's say 10.0.0. I will give 100 here. Now why I am using the same network IP here? So that all the machines we have in the LAN network, they can connect and they can communicate with this interface, and through this interface they can connect to the router. If we have different IP here in this interface, then these machines which is in the LAN network, which is using the 10 network IP, they cannot communicate to the interface, and because they are not able to communicate to this interface, they cannot communicate to the router. So the interface which is connected to the LAN network, we will give the IP address which is we are using here in the LAN network. So one of the IP we will use here in this interface. Now we get the lease line from the ISP. So we will connect the WAN port of our router. That is serial interface. Mostly it is serial interface, or we can use T1E1 connection, or in old routers it is BRI port. So we can use depending on the connections which we use. Either we are using ISDN connections, ISDN WAN, we are using the IP network, we are using digital lines, lease lines, or we are using ISDN lines. Depending on that, we have a port here in the router which connect to the WAN network. So we connect that port to the WAN network. Now here in this interface, the IP address will be provided by the ISP. So whatever the IP they will give always the public IP. So whatever IP they will give us, we will assign those IP here. Now because we connected, we get the link to connect these two offices, which is here and this side. So in this side also we have to put the router which will be connected to the LAN network of that side, and from that side also we use WAN port to connect to the WAN. Now the ISP will give us the IP address which can communicate to this interface and to this interface. So they will give the same network IP here. Let's say for example here they give 20.0.0.1. I'm giving just an example like 20.0.0.1. So in this side they will give you the IP address which is in the same network, like say 20 0 dot 0 dot 2, so that your routers this interface can easily communicate with this interface. Now how they will go from this Africa to America using this WAN cloud, that will be configured by the ISP. They will manage, they will do this. These are the service providers, they will do that, but they will give you the same network IP which you can assign on the interface of your one office WAN port, and the same range IP it will give you to assign into your other office WAN interface. Now one more thing to configure is what? The clock rate. We have talked about the clock rate before also. So always this WAN port, that is serial port or serial link, always has two sides. The one side is called DTE, and that DTE side is always be on the user side, the user which is using the service of ISP, and the other side always called DCE, data communication equipment and data terminal equipment. So this DCE side always be on the ISP side. Now in the DCE side, there is an option to manage the clock rate. Clock rate, like, is a frequency clock pulse how the data will go. So it is managed by the ISP. So basically it is managed by the ISP. We don't have to care about it. We just get the link, and based on the speed of our link and reliability, it will manage the clock rate here. Now, and same as for the other side also in our other location. So DTE side will be in your router side, and DCE side will be on the service provider side. So we don't have to care about the clock rate thing when we are configuring the IP address on our interfaces. So when we are configuring the IP addresses on the router interface, so where we will configure the IP address, we will configure on the LAN network port which is connected to the LAN, and we will use the same range IP which is used in the LAN network. Then we have to configure the WAN port, and in the WAN port the IP we will use which will be provided by the ISP itself. One more thing is the clock rate. Clock rate can be managed by automatically by the ISP on the DCE side. Now in our example we are not having right now the ISP. So for doing this communication from one network to other network, what we will do here in our packet tracer, we will connect directly this WAN port from one router to other router. We will bypass this ISP thing. Why we do this? Because we are not having the lease lines and all, and we are doing it in virtual packet tracer. So right now we will not want to configure this WAN things. We just want to see how we can communicate from one network to another network. So in this case what we do, we connect the router port, the serial port directly from one router to other router, and in that case if this end is DTE, then the other end will be DCE, because it depends on the router, it depends on the cable, it depends on the serial cable. So in this case if you are doing the configuration like this, then in the DCE side, whether it is in this side or in this side, you have to manage the clock rate. So you have to take care about the clock rate. If you don't mention the clock rate, or if it is not there, then what happen? You will see the link is running physically, but logically it will say down and disable, and it will not match, and you are not able to do the communication. So basically the configurations are like this for the WAN network, but for testing purpose in packet tracer we can connect directly our serial port from one router to other router, and in that case the DTE and DCE side will be in our side both. In one side it will be DTE, so other side will be DCE. Either it is in this side or this side, and in that case we have to take care about the clock rates, either in this side or this side, wherever the DCE side is there. And to check that, we can run the command show controller serial, and then we can mention the serial interface name and number. So for configuring the interface, that means you're configuring what? Your interface IP address. Then you can configure the description for your interface also. Like you can mention this interface is for the LAN network, this interface is for the WAN network. So whenever you check the configurations, by the descriptions you can say like, okay, this interface is for this thing, You may have lots of interfaces in your router. So with the description, you can easily guess which interface is for which router. Then also you can manage the bandwidth of your interface. That means you can increase or decrease the bandwidth of your interface. Now bandwidth means how much speed you are getting. Now for the LAN network, mostly you are having Ethernet interface for this LAN network, which is 10 Mbps. Then you can have fast Ethernet, which is 100 Mbps, 100 Mbps, or you can have gigabit interface that is can go up to 1 Gbps, a 1000 Mbps. Now in the LAN network, on this LAN port, you don't have to manage the bandwidth because it depends on your LAN. It is LAN, it is fast. You are having a, if you are having 1 Gbps link port on this router, you can have 1 Gbps port on switch, you can have 1 Gbps port on the machines also. But when you go for the WAN LAN, now WAN links are very costly and expensive. It depends on the range and the speed you get. So based on the range, like distance and the speed, you will be charged and it can be a very costly. So mostly the WAN links are slow. So suppose your WAN port, this WAN link of your router supports 10 Mbps. So your port is 10 Mbps, but you are getting 10 Mbps is very expensive for you. So you are getting only 1 Mbps link, WAN link. Now in this case, what happens? Your router is throwing the data on the WAN, like throwing the data on the WAN side on the speed of 10 Mbps. But this ISP can only accept, because they have allowed you only 1 Mbps. So what happened in this case? It will create the bottleneck. Bottleneck means you are throwing the data like this in a big way, but it can pass only from a small hole. So your data will jam and your signals, your network will get slow. So in this case, you can do what? You can manage the bandwidth of your local this interface, your WAN port interface, and you can reduce this 10 Mbps to 1 Mbps. So then what happened? It will throw the data in 1 Mbps and your ISP will accept the data in only 1 Mbps because you have get the 1 Mbps speed. So these are the things which we can configure on the interface of the router. Next time we will see how we can configure these interfaces on router. We'll create a design like this and then we will configure it like this.